All right, I'm gonna teach my makeover horse here the head down cue. So the first, I'm just describing here how to go with the horse if they are pricking their head up. So I lost my audio for this clip, so I'm just gonna grab the end of her halter and just with like my first two fingers just kind of put a little pressure and release when she brings her head down. So I'm just barely touching it and then releasing, just like that. And just continue doing that until she can like bring her head down. I just want it down like below her withers, just to get her used to the cue. I only usually teach this lesson once, and then I just use it in daily handling. So there, she's got it nice and low. She's catching on really well. So like I'll do this, I'll ask for this head down cue like before I take the halter off or before I put the bridle on, times like that. So I only like teach it one time, but I do use it pretty much every day. So I'm just grabbing with my thumb and my first finger, and then if she were to, so there I move my left hand to just like adjust my hat, and she got a little scared, so I'm just desensitizing her to that movement, and then going back and repeating it again, and she was fine. And then back to my lesson. So if the horse is resisting, I would just close my fingers like all the way down until my whole hand is in a fist, and then I would hold for 3 seconds, and then increase the pressure downward, and then hold, and continue that for 3 seconds until the horse responds. Now if you're get to a point where you're using all the pressure that you can, just hold and wait. Don't like bump on them because they're going to bring their head up. So I would just hold and wait for a horse that's really resistant to that. She's pretty light, so you don't need a lot of pressure with her, but she also will bring that head right back up. Like she wants to lower it, and then it'll bob up to back where her withers are, and I would like it to stay down. That was better. So I clucked when the head was down because she kept it down, and then I'm going to feed her with her head down just to encourage her to have her head in that position. So just give her a second here to chew, and then I'll ask again in a minute. And I just keep asking till she keeps her head down and to where I can click again. All right, so I'm going to keep asking till she can hold it down a little bit longer. There, that was really good. So I'm just going to end asking her with the halter and move on to asking her with my hand at her pole. So I'm just going to move on to the second part here. And she likes to toss her head like that. So I just don't take my hand away. Like she had a real issue with that. Like there, her head's coming up. I just follow it. It went down and I took my hand away. So she had a real issue in these first few lessons here with shaking her head and assuming that I would take my hand off then. I'm sure she's done that in the past to get stuff off. Obviously they do that with flies, but she really had a habit of doing that. And I just keep my hand there, no pressure, just my hand just laying up on her pole and just waiting. Like here she's backing up, just gonna follow her, wait while she shakes her head. Just wait. I didn't want to put a ton of pressure on her because she's very sensitive, and when you put a lot of pressure, they're gonna get scared and they're gonna pull back. And that's not what you want. So I'm just resting my hand there. So I'm just teaching her to like lower her head and to not, like her first reaction is to shake her head, to not shake her head. To like the pressure just means put your head down, like shaking it's not going to get you out of it. It's not going to get the pressure away. So I'm just waiting. Head came up, still shaking, up again. It's just sitting there gently on her pole. So I don't care if she backs up. I'm just going to go with her. I went down a little bit, so I release. And then I just desensitize, and then I'll try again. Just a slight little bit there. She went down, and I'm going to reward that. It's not going to be a huge movement in the beginning, and that's totally fine. You got to build up to that. But there she's doing a little bit less head shaking, so that's good. And I just want to watch the tip of her ears, and then I can kind of tell when they bring their head down because it's going to be very slight. So there she only shook her head one time, so that's good. And just very slightly. So you can also click and feed there. I was just trying to get her to get the idea. I didn't want to. There's like a fine line of rewarding a behavior that's correct and rewarding a behavior and then they get a superstitious behavior. So I don't want her to think, I shake my head and then I put it down and that's the behavior that I'm rewarding. So that's why I'm kind of wading through this shaking and just using the negative reinforcement. And then when I can put my hand on her and she doesn't shake her head and she lowers it, then I'm gonna click and reward. So I want her to do the behavior correctly and not get a superstitious behavior and think that that head shaking is part of what I want. So that's why I'm not clicking and feeding as much during this lesson. So she gets a little distracted. I just kind of hold on the rope a little bit and then ask her again. Just very, very slight. That's all I'm asking. My hand's just resting up there. And you can, like, if you have a less sensitive horse, obviously just resting your head there or your hand there is not going to work. So I just kind of press down and then my fingertips kind of come toward my palm. And then I just increase that every 3 seconds. All right, so that time I clicked and fed because she did shake her head, but it was very, very slight. So I'm like getting her in the right direction. So she did it a bit, but not as much as she did before. So I'm just gonna give her a little positive reinforcement and tell her that she's on the right track. And we'll start again here. See, that was a little bit harder head shake. So I'm just gonna wait. Just gonna hold. Her head goes up. I'm just gonna go with her, not increasing the pressure. Just holding and waiting, holding and waiting. I'm just going with her, not increasing the pressure. I'm not pulling on the lead rope, just waiting for her. And there, she dropped it. I'm just bringing her back up so camera can see her, but this also works as releasing pressure when I walk away. I'm not a predator because I'm leaving. I'm like, oh, and it's also like another form of reward. So a little desensitizing and then start again. So she's down to 1 head shake, so that's better. She was doing like 3 or 4 in the beginning just of this lesson. She's thinking about it. She's licking her lips. Good. So I click and reward her. So I just wanted to quit while I was ahead there because she was backing up. So I wanted to catch the ones where she's not backing up. So I'm just going to end here in a minute. Good. Just going to end on that head down cue. So she had a couple of times where she just put her head down and didn't move, and that was really good for her. So I'm just gonna let her hang out for a minute and chew her food, and then I'll move on to a different lesson.